Consumer Price Index, January 2022. Transmission of material in this release is embargoed until 8:30 a.m. Eastern, February 10, 2022. Note: the PDF version of the CPI news release was reissued February 10, 2022. Data errors were found in tables in the PDF version of the news release. Data found elsewhere, including the text version of the news release, are correct as originally published. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 0.6% in January on a seasonally adjusted basis, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 7.5% before seasonal adjustment. Increases in the indexes for food, electricity, and shelter were the largest contributors to the seasonally adjusted all items increase. The food index rose 0.9% in January following a 0.5% increase in December. The energy index also increased 0.9% over the month, with an increase in the electricity index being partially offset by declines in the gasoline index and the natural gas index. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.6% in January, the same increase as in December. This was the seventh time in the last 10 months it has increased at least 0.5%. Along with the index for shelter, the indexes for household furnishings and operations, used cars and trucks, medical care, and apparel were among many indexes that increased over the month. The All Items Index rose 7.5% for the 12 months ending January, the largest 12-month increase since the period ending February 1982. The All Items Less Food and Energy Index rose 6.0%, the largest 12-month change since the period ending August 1982. The Energy Index rose 27.0% over the last year, and the Food Index increased 7.0%. Chart 1. 1-month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, seasonally adjusted, January 2021 to January 2022. Chart 2. 12-month percent change in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, not seasonally adjusted, January 2021 to January 2022. Table A. Percent changes in CPI for all urban consumers, CPI-U, U.S. city average. Food. The food index increased 0.9% in January. The Food at Home Index increased 1.0% over the month after rising 0.4% in December. 5 of the 6 major grocery store food group indexes increased in January. The index for cereals and bakery products increased the most, rising 1.8% over the month. The index for other food at home increased 1.6% in January, while the index for dairy and related products rose 1.1%. The Fruits and Vegetables Index rose 0.9% over the month, and the Meats, Poultry, Fish, and Eggs Index increased 0.3%. The only grocery store group index not to increase in January was the index for non-alcoholic beverages, which was unchanged. The Food Away from Home Index rose 0.7% in January following an increase of 0.6% in December. The index for full-service meals and the index for limited-service meals both also rose 0.7% over the month. The Food at Home Index rose 7.4% over the last 12 months. All of the 6 major grocery store food group indexes increased over the period. By far the largest increase was that of the index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs, which rose 12.2% over the year. The index for dairy and related products increased 3.1%, the smallest 12-month increase among the groups. The index for food away from home rose 6.4% over the last year, the largest 12-month increase since January 1982. The index for limited service meals rose 8.0% over the last 12 months, and the index for full-service meals rose 7.1%. The index for food at employee sites and schools, in contrast, declined 46.9% over the past 12 months, reflecting widespread free lunch programs. Energy. The energy index increased 0.9% in January. The electricity index rose sharply in January, increasing 4.2%. The gasoline index fell 0.8% in January after rising rapidly in the autumn of 2021. Before seasonal adjustment, gasoline prices rose 0.1% in January. The index for natural gas also declined in January, falling 0.5% after declining 0.3% in December. The energy index rose 27.0% over the past 12 months, with all major energy component indexes increasing. The gasoline index rose 40.0% over the last year, despite declining in January. The index for natural gas rose 23.9% over the last 12 months, and the index for electricity rose 10.7%. All items less food and energy. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.6% in January, the same increase as December. The shelter index increased 0.3% in January as the rent index increased 0.5% and the owner's equivalent rent index rose 0.4%. The index for household furnishings and operations rose 1.3% over the month following a 1.1% increase in December. The used cars and trucks index rose 1.5% in January, a deceleration from the 3.3% increase reported in December. The medical care index rose 0.7% in January. The index for hospital services increased 0.5% and the index for prescription drugs rose 1.3%, while the index for physician services declined 0.1%. Other indexes that rose in January include recreation, plus 0.9%, apparel, plus 1.1%, personal care, plus 1.0%, airline fares, plus 2.3%, and education, plus 0.2%. Only a few indexes decreased in January. Among those that did were lodging away from home, minus 3.9%, and wireless telephone services, minus 0.1%. The index for new vehicles was unchanged over the month. The index for all items less food and energy rose 6.0% over the past 12 months. Major contributors to this increase include shelter, plus 4.4%, and used cars and trucks, plus 40.5%. However, the increase is broad-based, with virtually all component indexes showing increases over the past 12 months. Not seasonally adjusted CPI measures. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 7.5% over the last 12 months to an index level of 281.148, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.8% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPI-W, increased 8.2% over the last 12 months to an index level of 276.296, 1982-84 equals 100. For the month, the index rose 0.9% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Chained Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 7.1% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.8% on a not seasonally adjusted basis. Please note that the indexes for the past 10 to 12 months are subject to revision. The Consumer Price Index for February 2022 is scheduled to be released on Thursday, March 10, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.